Good afternoon to all of you. Can you hear me? You can write on the Q&A. I have already posted Q&A wherein you refer 4 items I published. Only 2 attendees are there. I don't know others are joining today or not, because today is the last session and only 2 attendees are there. Okay, so I'm waiting for a few more, 1 or 2 minutes more to start. Let the other will join. All of you are knowing today is the Choti Deepavali and all are very busy in the Deepavali festival. So maybe that is one of the reasons people are not joining. But I'm waiting for few more minutes because I hope few more will join very soon. And it is very interesting that on the eve of Deepavali, tomorrow you have a Deepavali, and we are going to learn the close our business statistics session. So that is a beautiful day for all of us. More or less, those who are on the 4 attendees who have already joined here, all of you see, I on the Padlet I've shared you. I welcomed you, and I shared you the Padlet link yesterday. One of your participants have sent an WhatsApp and asked that we want the Padlet link because we are joining first time. So for that purpose, I shared the Padlet link wherein you have the PowerPoint presentation of Unit 13 and Unit 14. So your agenda is also mentioned here, Unit 13 and Unit 14. Am I clear? Unit 13 and 14. Unit 13 is your simulation modeling. Yeah, and Unit 14 is an index number. These are 2 chapters is there. In half hour times we are going to devote on these two units, and we will conclude the discussion of business statistics today. But our learning relation is not going to close here today. It is starting from today. Anytime you have the platform, we have provided you so many platforms. You can send a chat on a team, you can write on a Padlet, you can send a mail, you can write on WhatsApp. So n number of options you have, and from there we can learn together. Even if those who are facing the problem in understanding any particular topic, I will always be available on the campus from 10 to 5. We can fix up a team meeting and for 10 or 15 minutes, and I will explain you whatever your doubt is there. So learning is not going to stop here. For anybody who is not able to understand, you are writing mail, I am responding to you, I am giving you the doubt, I am clearing your doubt. All of you are already writing and I am clearing your doubt. Some of you have even sent the WhatsApp, and there also I have given the answer. On the Padlet I am writing regularly your doubts. And even though in the writing communication mode, if you are not able to understand, we will fix up a meeting on team anytime 10 to 5 in the working hour, and whatever your doubt is there, I will clear you. Reason behind the fact is because it is a business statistics class, it is a data analytics class, wherein sometime a small doubt will create lot of confusion in your mind. So whenever you are facing any difficulty, don't hesitate. You can call, you can ask, you can. This is not a subject wherein you need to wait for, and because you need to understand it. You need to understand the concept, then only you can do the analysis. I will. We are going to start the discussion now. I can see only 6 participants are there. Now I am going to start discussion simulation modeling. I am sharing you the PowerPoint now. All of you can see now. I'm going to share you the PowerPoint. Chapter 13. I think in the now you see all of you the PowerPoint on the screen. I shared you the screen now. I think all of you just see chapter 13 on the screen. I'm just making it a little bigger where we can write also. You see all of you here. Today in this chapter you are going to learn Monte Carlo simulation. All of you see here Monte Carlo simulation. What is Monte Carlo simulation? That I will explain you. We will talk about the types of simulation in this unit, and we will also talk about the elements of discrete event simulation, how to generate the generation of random numbers, and mechanics of discrete simulations. These are the things I will talk here in this chapter. And first is the Monte Carlo simulation. All of you know, try to understand what is simulation first of all. Basically, all of you are till now from unit, if you refer unit 1 and to unit 12, you learn to play with the data. Am I right? You learned how to play with the data. You have the data, collected data. Either you have a primary data or you have a secondary data. But here a situation may be there in a business wherein you don't have the data and it is not possible for you to get the data also. Thus, you don't have the secondary data and you cannot get the primary data also. That situation may be there in the case of business. For example, let us try to understand one problem. You are running a T-shirt manufacturing company. You are running a T-shirt manufacturing company. Am I clear? And you have already sold, suppose in 2020 till now, you have already sold 1000 T-shirt. Are you getting me? So, and you wanted to predict how many unit of T-shirt you have to manufacture for the sale in 2021, 2022 or 2023, like that. You want to know so you don't know how many units you are going to sell in 2021. It is unpredictable. You can just imagine the situation of 2020, maybe during the 2019, you would have sold 10,000 T-shirt. Because of Corona pandemic, no sports event took place, and therefore you sold only 1,000. So in 2019, how one can predict what we would have sold in the we can sell in 2020. So predicting about the future is very difficult here. So we have to just we can make a model equation. We can find out a stochastic or deterministic parameter. Stochastic means based a model you can make, a equation you can make that your business is showing a trend of a straight line. Means a mathematical equation. Business is showing a mathematical equation, straight line model. Mathematical equation is the model. So then we can say my business model is deterministic, mathematical model. But sometimes your business model is not mathematical. likelihood. So it is a stochastic means probability distribution based, a model which is based on probability. So two type of business you will come across. One business where the model equation is deterministic, means mathematical equation. Other situation where your model equation, your model is probability distribution model, either a binomial model or Poisson model or normal distribution model. That is called a stochastic parameter. So your business model may be a probability distribution based stochastic parameter or deterministic parameter, but here in this model equation you need input data, and then you can get the output data. That is the only model is there. Am I clear? That is the things you have to do. How much? Suppose in this case you need to put an input. What input you have to put? How many t-shirt we are going to sell in the coming years? How many t-shirt is the input? And then it will go to this model and you can get the output. How much profit we will generate? Profit is the output. Maybe your business t-shirt business is a sort of probability distribution model or a deterministic model. But a probability distribution model is called stochastic model. And mathematical model is called deterministic model. That is your business model. So model is there, but the input is not known to us. So in this case, we have to generate the input. And that input have to be generated based on a random sampling. Am I clear? You have already learned the random sampling in the unit 1, how to do the random sampling. Like one of the most important example of how we have used the Monte Carlo application to find out the value of pi. Same manner, we have calculated the value of pi, experimental value and simulation value of pi is 3.141519. And therefore, because the experimental value of pi and calculated value of pi through simulation are same, then all over the globe, people have accepted this model, simulation modeling model. And the application wherein we are using a deterministic or stochastic model, and we are giving a random input, random number generated input as a random sample in the model and getting the output. This application is called Monte Carlo application. All of you understood it. What is Monte Carlo application and what is simulation? There are two types of simulations, continuous model and discrete model. If your data, for example, in a t-shirt case, your input have to be countings. It will come one. You cannot make a t-shirt of 59.6 t-shirt, 59.5.96 t-shirt. It has to be. So once your random number data, input data, which you are generating and required as in the form of counting, then that type of model is called discrete model. For example, my t-shirt problem is related to discrete model. And wherever you are generating the random input to put into the model and get the output, and the required input is a measurement based, maybe in meter, kilometer, time. So measurement based inputs are there, then that type of model is called continuous model. I don't want to read it, you understood it. Now elements of discrete event simulation, same manner. Ultimate goal of simulation is to estimate. What estimation? Profit estimation in our case. I am going to estimate the profit in the t-shirt business, and my model is a discrete model wherein I have already created a equation to get the profit, how to calculate the profit. That model is here, and we will generate a random counting values, and this random counting value will go into this input model equation, and you will get the profit, estimated profit. This is called ultimate goal of, this is the ultimate goal of simulation. And then we have to check continuous model. All the discrete event Simulations describes directly or indirectly queuing situation in which customer arrives, wait in the queue and then receives services before leaving the service. I am going to explain you this model with the help of a problem, right? And then you will understand it. I have already, whatever the things is there, you go through, but from a problem you will understand in a better way what is simulation. This is all about the PowerPoint and book you refer it, and you will understand with a case study. I'm coming to the case now. I'm discarding it now, and same case I am going to solve. All of you open the Excel. Can you see my Excel? No, because I have to open the 1 minute. I am just stop sharing. Now I'm going to share the Excel for you. One minute. Have been not able to send. I'm in the sharing. One minute. Now all of you see the Excel sheet here. Let us, I'm opening the sheet 1, all of you see here. I don't know in 2021 how many t-shirt we are going to sell. I have to predict. I don't know how many unit of t-shirt we will sell in 2022. But I have just taken a data. You have a t-shirt company, and in 2019 you sold 1000 t-shirt. This is the things we have learned till now. I wanted to find out here in 2021 how many unit of t-shirt we are going to sell. Am I clear? Now let us try to see, all of you, what I am going to do now. Please check, see clearly. Once you are running a t-shirt business, you have to brought some level. I have already made a model for your t-shirt business. What is this model is that I am going to explain you. Please try to understand it. First of all, what I have done is because I started a t-shirt company, so every month I have to pay the salary. Either I sell 1 unit of t-shirt, or I have to make 1 unit of t-shirt, or millions of unit of t-shirt. Salary I have to give to the employee. Rent I have to pay to them. Am I right? So these things we have to give a cost which is not changing as you are making 1 unit or millions of unit. That type of cost is called fixed cost. Rent, labor, salary payment, all are fixed costs. Suppose in your t-shirt company, your fixed cost is 3 lakh. Am I clear? And your variable cost, suppose if you are purchasing the stitching, the tailor master who is stitching the t-shirt is a fixed cost because you have to pay the salary. Rent where the tailor master will prepare your t-shirt is a fixed cost. But the material, the stitching items and the cloth which is used to stitch the t-shirt is a variable cost. If 1 t-shirt you make, that much item is required. If you are making 100, so the item which if you are making one item, then their variable cost is 40 rupees. If you are making 1000 item, then 1000 into 40 is the cost, total variable cost. So 40 rupees is the variable cost. Am I clear to all of you? Now suppose after making the t-shirt, you are selling in the market to the dealer and distributor at a cost of 100 rupees, right? And in 2019, you sold 1000 t-shirt. So how much profit you made? That I am going to calculate. Let us see, all of you. I am going to calculate here. I am calculating how much revenue I generated. I sold 1000 t-shirt, E8 sale, and I am multiplying with price 100 rupees per. So my total revenue came 100 into 1000 means E8 into E7 minus. Then I have to, how much is the total cost? So fixed cost is 3 lakhs, that I have to subtract. Then only you can get the profit. So fixed cost is 3 lakhs. So E5 cell plus the variable cost. Variable cost means 1 unit variable cost is 40 rupees. And that is to be multiplied by how many unit you are manufacturing per cell? 1000. So this is 1000 I have taken and we multiplied it. Am I clear? So you are going to get a loss in this business of 2,40,000. Now the first important thing, this is a model which is a deterministic model. You have everything known. If you have a 1000 t-shirt, then you are going to make a loss of 2,40,000. It is a deterministic. But here you don't know how many units you are going to make. Are you getting me? How many units you are going to make, you don't know. And you don't have the data also for 2021, 2022, how many units you will make. Suppose in 2021, how many units I have to make for so that I can make at least I can make some profit of 10,000 rupees. That is the intention. So what I have to do? What I have to do? I am going to generate a random number that you have already done because we don't know the input. How many units I am going to sell in 2020 for that purpose. Excel, you have the option manually. If you want to generate the random number, you have a random number in the Google. You write the random number table, you will get a random number table and you can take it. But in Excel, as you have already learned in the previous class in Unit 1, we can generate the random number. How we can generate the random number? I am going to generate the random input cell. And it means I am not going to make a cell less than 1000. But the maximum, so what I am going to do, I am writing equal to sign to generate a random number as an input. Rand between function. All of you know rand between function. Minimum I am going to sell 1000 as I have already sold in 2020. And maximum is your total, how many tailor is there in your company, how many machine is there. So maximum capacity in a annual capacity building, maximum capacity building is there of your maximum capacity of your factory is the maximum number. So when we made the factory, my factory said my machine, all the labor, all we can make maximum 20,000 t-shirt, 30,000 t-shirt in a year. That is my capacity of my factory. So I am going to generate a random number between the minimum 1,000 to 30,000. Any number we can sell. So I'm just by a lottery system, I am just getting the first data. So I got 4,000. And now I am just taking 50 randomly through a lottery like this. Am I clear? I took this much data randomly. And then I am putting the control C. I am picking this one and a control C I put it, copy it. And then I am going to another cell here because I want to fix it. Otherwise, time and again it will change, as you have seen in the unit 1. So to keep my random number, whatever random cell volume you generated, that you want to keep constant. Keep constant. What you have to do? Right click and paste the number, whatever you copied it. Now the column H value are changing, but column J value will not change if you will press enter time and again. Are you getting me? So this is all about the things we have completed. So I am already having from the input value of the cell in 2020, various input value of the cell in the 2020 we have already taken. Now I wanted to calculate there how much profit in the different cell with a different unit of cell volume. So what I am going to do, the same thing out that the way I have calculated the profit, same manner with the same data and same deterministic equation, I am going to calculate the profit. All of you are already knowing. So profit value is, now you see your fixed cost profit is how much? How many units you are going to sell? In this is the, suppose this is the data came from the random number generated simulation data 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, that is J7, and that is to be multiplied by how much? 1 unit you are selling at 100 rupees. Price is same, but this is constant whether you sell 1 or you sell 1000. So to make it constant, prefix with a dollar. Am I clear? And then close the bracket. This much revenue you are generating, then minus, start the bracket, and then how much is the fixed cost? This one, and this fixed cost is also constant. So $E, $5. I think all of you understood it. So this is your fixed cost plus total variable cost. What is the total variable cost? One t-shirt cost is $E and $6, means 40 rupees throughout the journey, whether you sell 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 or you sell 1176. So that's why you are fixing absolute referencing and then multiply with the number of unit, this many unit you are selling. So you are going to generate this profit. So if you are selling 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, then you are generating a profit of this much. And for the different number you generated, you just drag it down, you got the profit value, different profit values under this cell. Am I clear? Now you have this data set. So you are number of sale, number of t-shirt you are selling, as I am writing, and the profit data you already got. Now to visualize it, you just copy this data set. And let us see, I am going to visualize it. So I am inserting a chart, insert option is there, insert, and I am inserting which chart we have to insert. It is a discrete two column data is there. So which chart is best for this? Bar chart. Am I right? All of you have already learned in unit 2. So here we have to put a bar chart. And let us see what is the recommended chart Microsoft is suggesting to us. So they are suggesting this chart also, this chart also. So you can, I'm just taking a profit and number. This chart is also there, but I'm just going to take, instead of that, I'm taking inserting a bar chart. I am just inserting a bar chart here. Yeah, and we have already got a bar chart wherein your profit is 1 minute. Please hold on. I think I have to check the data. I have taken the data. I am just inserting the. Now let me check the what is the which chart it is? Recommended chart is this. Insert. Now you can plot the chart and you can see where you have the highest profit. So as many as T-shirt you have to sell, you can get the highest profit that you are conducting. But randomly, you can understand from this is the way how the simulation modeling is working. But another way how the machine is also doing a simulation modeling for you. Let us see. I wanted to make a profit of 10,000. So inbuilt feature is there. First of all, I want to how many unit I have to sell so that I can generate a profit, no loss. That point is called break-even point. That we have shown you how the simulation modeling is working on this table 2021 table. But on the back end, your Excel is doing the work simulation they are doing. First of all, I'm going to use the same how many unit I have to manufacture so that we can get the no profit, no loss, means profit have to be 0. So for that purpose, click the data button here. And you have a what if analysis option. Click the what if, go to goal seek. Goal seek is there. Click the goal seek button. And your goal seek is to set this cell. I have selected this cell to value 0. And then by changing which cell, number of unit you are going to sell. Which I have selected and you see. So if you are selling 5,000, your machine is doing the simulation for you. If you are selling 5,000 unit, you are getting a break-even point. What is the break-even point for your T-shirt business? T-shirt business, my break-even point is 5,000. They have already done this like I have done a table. So backend your machine is doing the table and finding out and giving you the report here by using goal seek. So goal seek is doing everything which you will do manually here by generating random number, calculating profit, then plotting a graph and then finding out the break-even point where I'm getting 0 profit, that point. So this work your machine is doing. So your break-even point is 5,000 unit. And what is my business? What I want? I want a minimum profit of 10,000. So how we can generate it? We will use the same way. You click the data button. Same way I'm going to use the same model. In the same model, I'm going to generate the random number. And I'm calculating the profit by the machine. Machine will calculate the profit for you and then compare it. And then they will show you. So I am going to calculate profit have to be equal to how much? 10,000 rupees. So 10,000 I have written by changing which cell? Number of unit cell. And you see your machine is doing everything for you. If I am selling for generating a profit of 10,000 unit, 10,000 rupees in a year, I have to sell how many unit of T-shirt? 5167 unit of T-shirt in 2021. Am I clear to all of you? So this is all about how the simulation model is working. You have learned simulation model, how to generate the random number, how to use the random number in your model, and how practically the simulation model is very important for everyone who are doing the business, to generate the break-even point, to calculate the break-even point, to generate the to fix the target of your business. For every place you need to use the Excel, and I have already demonstrated you how to use data, and under that data once again you have to go to the what if analysis. In this you have to pick the goal seek, and time and again you refer this Excel. This Excel I will upload it on your Padlet, as well as I will upload it on the on your team also. So with this and LMS also. Thank you very much. So we have concluded the discussion of simulation. Now I will request everyone after this session must do the self-test, all the 10 multiple choice question which is given at the end of the unit chapter. And one thing, whenever you go read each and every line carefully and understand, because I'm giving you the concept map only. I'm generating the interest, appetite to learn. Remaining things is your job. I have completed. Now I'm coming to the next topic. I'm just sharing you once again. I think all of you can see. I'm just sharing you once again. Stop sharing, and now I am sharing you the next unit, and the next unit is unit 14, last one. Am I clear? So last unit you are going to learn today. Yes, all of you have got it. Can see this here. Very good to and if you have any doubt, you can write on the P&A. I'm just going to refer the P&A first, and then I will see what is going on here. 1 minute. 2 new is there. Roll number shared by Sanjay Sinha. Any doubt if you have, you can put it. 8 attendees are here right now on the screen, and now I'm going to discuss the last chapter with you. Possibly this chapter name is index number. All of you see here. Right? All of you see index number. All of you are knowing index number. Sensex. You know, all of you? What is the, sometimes people are saying Sensex is going up, Sensex is going down. And Nasdaq index, New York Stock Exchange index. Am I clear? I don't know whether I'm there with you or not. Let me check once again. I think I lost. The reason is this card. Now I can see. So Nasdaq, Sensex is a very common index. All of you are knowing. So how they are calculating the index? That you are going to learn here. Index. And most common is, suppose I'm saying today's in Sensex is 36,580. So what you are understanding? It is an index number. What is index number? In this chapter, you will understand the concept and importance of index number. Importance of index number, how you will see. Index number are used to compare the phenomenon from one time period to another time period. Are you getting me? You have a Sensex basket of 50 different shares, and their shares you are adding it and you are comparing it. The formula for unweighted index number, formula for calculating the two type of index numbers are there. Unweighted index number, if you will refer, and weighted index number. Two type of index number is given in your book. I will talk about first. This formula is which is given here is a index number for period I. Index number for 2020. So base year you have to take it. For example, I'm taking for a base year is 1998. Calculate the index number of price. If the formula, if I'm asking a question to all of you, calculate the index number of a price for 2020 and keep the base year. Keep the base year as 1998. This is a formula. Calculate the index number, price index. Price means price index. Calculate the price index. Are you getting me? Keeping base year as 1998. It means whenever you calculate the index number, the important component is what is the base, for which base you are calculating. So base is very important. Frame of reference is very important, from which you are going to compare. So formula here is written: index number for a period, value for a period 2020 means price in 2020 and the value in the base year 2020. Suppose if I want to ask you what is the price index of car in India. So what is the average price of car in 2020? If you are taking suppose 50 most popular brand of Indian cars, and that price is most popular brand means not the premier category, means on average the highest selling cars, all 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 60, 50 cars, and their price you noted here. Are you getting me? Their price you noted here, and then you just calculated the summation of all price divided by 50. So you will get the average price of 2020 auto car. So that value, suppose it is say 3,75,000, you are getting X bar price for the 2020 is 3,75,000. Am I with you? What you have done? All the different brand of cars which is most popularly sold, you made a basket, and their price you made, their price you noted, and then you calculated their average, because all of you are very advanced, you have already learned descriptive statistics. So suppose your average price of 2020 is 3,75,000 of that 50 selected cars. Same thing, 50 selected share you are doing. Share of 50, their price you are taking and their average you are calculating. And now, same manner in 1998, the same cars, I am talking about same 50 cars. Suppose this car, Swift car, Santro car, Hyundai i20 car, i10 car, so I don't know, 50 cars, same car, their price you noted down, all same car. You are the same car, whatever the car is here in this 2020, same car, and their price you have noted down here. And there you calculated their X bar. So X bar of 1998 you got. Suppose X bar of 1998 is 3 lakhs. Are you getting me? So now your index number is 3,75,000 divided by how much? 3 lakhs. Am I clear? Multiplied by 100. So you will get the index number. Now I think all of you can calculate here. I'm requesting everyone to play and find out what is the value and post it on the Q&A. I will check on the answer. Post it on a Q&A, right? Calculate it. Just it is a, you have a mobile phone, you can 375 by 3, and you have one more option, 37, you divide it. This also. So you have only thing you have to do is 375 by 3. Yeah, and how much it will come, you see here. Then 7 will come. So then you have 2, so 6, and then 5. So your index number is 125. Means in 1998 it is 100. Now it is 125. Means base if means just if the car cost was 1 rupees in 1998, now it is 1 rupees 25 paise. Am I clear to all of you? So this is called index number, and this index number, the way we calculated, we have not considered any weight. So it is unweighted index number. Two type of index numbers are there, unweighted and weighted. And here is in the basket you have unweighted aggregate price index number. You have already learned how to calculate. Unweighted aggregate index is the simplest form of aggregate index number. In fact, the term unweighted index gives an indication of the equal importance given to all the items considered for computing the index number, all the items inside the basket. So this is unweighted aggregate price index. The second type of index number is method for constructing a price index. I have already explained to you. Now the second type of index is called weighted aggregate price index. That is given in your book also. Please open the book and page you refer it. In computation of unweighted aggregate price index number, equal weight, here you are talking about the weights. Equal weights are assigned to all the items, 50 cars. Equal weights are assigned to all the items. What we have done is in unweighted, you added all the xi and then you have divided by n and then you got x bar for 98 and x bar for 2020. Here you are just refining little bit. In the basket you have 50 car price, so you have to give the equal weight are assigned to all the item. In addition, unweighted index number are largely dependent on the units of item selected to compute unweighted index number. This is also one of the biggest disadvantage of unweighted index number. Now, if you are giving the equal weightage to all the 50 cars prices, then then you will get a better result of index. So we have that in your book. If you will refer, various type of weighted index methods are given. The first method, if you will refer, and some example we have when we prepared the SLM for the unit 14, we have given Las-Perez price index, and we given the formula, and then we have given some example so that you can easily understand. So Las-Perez price index is a type of, Las-Perez was a man who has given a price index formula of a weighted index, weighted index number calculation formula. What is Las-Perez price index? Is I index LA, Las-Perez index. Las-Perez price index is summation of PI Q0 into summation of P0 Q0. P0 Q0 is a base year. So here P1 is the price index for the current year, means 2020 price index, P 2020 already, and P0 is the price index of 1998. Try to understand in the base year, and here you see Q0 and Q0. Q0 is the quantity consumed in the base year. And the Q0 is the quantity consumed in the base year. How many quantity you consumed in the base year? You are multiplying with that. Are you getting me? Quantity consumed. Quantity consumed means suppose you have 1 to 50 car. Are you getting me? So suppose in the 1998 you are going to find out the quantity. So in the quantity, suppose first car is Swift VXI you have considered for this basket, and suppose quantity consumed is 5 lakh car you sold. Here you say 7 lakh car you sold. So whatever the quantity you consumed for each car, that is total you have taken, that is called the Q0, the quantity consumed in the base year. Am I clear? And that you are multiplying with the P price of 20 and multiplying with the price of P0, and then you are getting it. So this price index is called Las-Perez price index. And so many examples are given. I'm not going to explain you in detail. I have already explained you.
and I'm requesting everyone to go through the, you will understand it, not very difficult. So I'm not giving with some example I've given. Now coming to the next type, computing the index number through the second method. This is called Paste's method. Paste method. Las-Perras method you learn. This is ILA you learn, and here you are going to learn IPA. Paste. Paste method is similar to Las-Perras method with only one difference in terms of using the quantity measured for the current period. What is the difference between LA? In LA, index for LA, you are calculating P1 Q0 divided by summation P0 Q0 and multiplying by 100. In the Paste method, you are counting the number of cars sold in 2020 and you are multiplying with the same number 2020 cars sold on 2020 cars sold with the base also. So Q1 and Q2, Q1 means the total cars sold in 1920, and then you can calculate by multiplying 100. Am I clear? So you understand Las-Perras method and Paste method, both indexing method. Third method is also given, Dorbish-Bolle price index number. Dorbish-Bolle, third. Dorbish-Bolle price index method is the arithmetic mean. Please try to understand. Dorbish-Bolle, what he has done is the arithmetic mean of Las-Perras price index and the Paste price index. This is your Las-Perras price index, ILA plus I Paste divided by 2, arithmetic mean you will get it, and multiply by 100. Average you are calculating, average of Las-Perras as average of Paste. And then the new, this method was given by Dorbish-Bolle, that's why it is called Dorbish-Bolle price index method. Now I think all of you have understood it, and so many other is given. Marshall-Ernoult price index method is also there, where the formula is like this. So all Bolle's price index, so many Irving Fisher Ideal index number is given here. All are very simple and you can easily understand. Take the same problem and calculate. So these are the various type of. So what you do is, what I am going to, how you can remember all these things, all the different type of price index. What you do is, here you have last Irving Fisher Ideal index. So I'm giving you an assignment to all of you now. Please note down this assignment. What I'm going to give you an assignment, and this assignment is very important. You make a, here you make it, very good. Sometimes your machine is also helping. No, because here you write down index number on the top, right? And then you write first the weighted index number, unweighted index number, and here you write down their formula. This is your job. And here, example. One example in a small, use and open an Excel and write here an example. So for the same car example, you write in this column. So here you write the formula. Here you type, here formula, and here example. Then here, here you close it. Then you write here weighted index number from your book, right? And then you write down the different type of weighted index number, their formula and their calculation of the same problem. Example number, whatever the car is, same car, 50 cars, and you take some data in Excel, quantity data of 9. You take the make a table, different car you take it, their price you note down, their quantity of sale you note down for 2020 and for 1998 also, and you just prepare an Excel sheet, make it here calculation on the Excel. One side you make this table, another side on this Excel you make a data of P and Q data and then close it. Am I clear to all of you? So I think we have explained very clearly all the 2 units, and I think time is also going to, time is saying that your class have to be concluded. So with this I am concluding your day, and I'm also concluding the course, and I'm just stop sharing to all of you. If you have any doubt, you can ask me on a Q&A. Otherwise, one more thing, what I have done here is to make the continuous journey of understanding and everything. I have created one chatbot on the team. All of you have already seen that chatbot, and I think all of you, I would like to share the screen to all of you. Okay, so I think I'm sharing you the chatbot, and you have already got a message, right? So it's okay now. So we have concluded. Any questions if you have, please ask me. If you don't have the question, well and good. You have the everything I explained to you. Priyanka Burma have written a questions, and that we have very good answer. Sanjay Kumar Sinha have already given an answer. Yeah, and I'm just going to give an announcement. It's fine, sir. We are able to hear you and see the PPT. Thank you very much to all of you. And if you have any doubt, you can write on the chat bot, or you can write on my Padlet, or you have my email ID. So before concluding the journey, I am sharing you my email ID to all of you. You must go through all these chapters, both the chapters, and read it time and again. Don't forget, because you are going to complete your we have already concluded, and you concluded the discussion also. We well in advance and in time. So I request everyone must go to the LMS and complete your assignment, because your everything is clear now. You understood carefully, you are knowing this thing, you have the SLM, you have the lecture, you interacted with me continuously. So attempt the assignment and complete your journey. So with this I am concluding, because I have already completed the class. I am saying best of luck to all of you for your assignment and incoming end-term exams. Thank you very much. Goodbye. I'm just ending the session.